Parkour. 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 What's up guys, Gongrongzong here. So you're someone who wants to level up as fast as possible in the Division 2, cause the endgame is where the real game really begins. You don't care about the story, or the echoes, or these walkie-talkie thingies that add to the lore, or who Abraham Lincoln is, or whether or not your character looks ugly as hell like mine because I spent 30 seconds on character creation. Well, you're in the right place. Within 2 days of release, I managed to get my character to max level. And no, while I did obviously play a lot, I didn't do some crazy 24-hour playthrough. You should never do that. In this video, we'll go through the most efficient way of getting to level 30. This guide will also be as spoiler-free as possible, as I'll only be showing the bare minimum of footage, so don't be worried about your experience getting ruined. I'll also be going through some important tips in the second half of the video, such as whether you should salvage or sell your items, so make sure you stick around for that. Okay, the number one thing you gotta do to level up quickly would be to do the main missions as soon as possible. They give a crazy ton of XP, the most in comparison to any other activity, and help to unlock different areas of your main base. I did them once I hit the same level of the mission, but feel free to attempt them if you're just a level or two under. Anything less than that, I wouldn't recommend it, which leads to point number 2. Side missions give less XP than main missions, but are your second biggest source of experience to level up quickly. They also unlock additional areas for your secondary bases, your settlements. Unlike main missions that are locked to a specific level, side missions will scale with your level. So the strategy would be to do side missions until you hit the same level as a main mission, do the main mission, and then continue on with side missions. Sometimes, side missions will only unlock when you talk to NPCs in a town. Almost always, these NPCs will have an orange diamond above their heads, indicating that they have a mission to give, so look out for those in your White House and settlements. So which activities should you do outside of these two? The only ones you should be concerned about, if you want to level up as quickly as possible, are the capture points, the ones with the red flags. They are quick to do, you can call allies to your side, and give you a ton of loot at the end. They also let you teleport to them, allowing faster travel in the world. However, at the end of the day, you still want to focus on all the side and main missions. Do control points if they are along the way, or you really feel like you need some weapon or gear upgrades. In other words, don't bother with any other activity if you're looking to level up as quickly as possible. It's just not worth it for the experience. Fourthly, there is a specific perk that you want to level up, and that is the one that gives you more experience for doing certain things, such as headshots, multi-kills, or surviving as long as possible. Always upgrade that perk first, as its benefits far outweigh any of the other perks for leveling. And of course, the questions that are core to every looter type game. And here's the answer for leveling. From level 1 to 20, use whatever gear you want, and equip whatever gear that is of a higher level. The benefit of armor and stats that you can get from equipping a higher level piece of gear will far outscale whatever piece you favor, especially if that piece is of a much lower level. You could start to practice a little more consideration from level 20 onwards, wearing the gear you like instead of the higher armor ones, but honestly, it still never really mattered until the endgame past level 30. In line with that, of course, is choosing your weapons and skills. Now this will be very much dependent on your party makeup, or if you're playing solo. I can't comment on a party build, but this will be my skill recommendations for solo. The two skills you want are the cluster mine version of the seeker mine and the normal version of the turret. The cluster mine helps immensely in identifying targets for you instantly, and in clearing out a room of all low level enemies. This is critical for a solo player, as you do not want to get flanked and overwhelmed. You want to make sure you know how many enemies there are in an area, where they're coming from, and what they're hiding behind. The turret, on the other hand, helps to act as a fantastic distraction and an added form of DPS for you, a sort of pseudo second party member in your solo play. This is critical in a shooter game such as this, as anything that would help you draw fire away from yourself needs to be taken advantage of. What about weapons? The same considerations would apply. It gets incredibly hard to solo with a sniper rifle, for example, as the game progresses on. I was able to use a sniping playstyle while leveling, but that was because I leveled my character in a co-op environment. If you're looking for a fast, quick and easy way to level to 30 solo, you need to have at least one slot equipped with an automatic weapon. The weapon types I would suggest for leveling are the assault rifle and the rifle. The assault rifle is fantastic for close and moderate range targets, while the rifle is amazing for longer ranges. A combination of these two would enable you to handle any situation effectively and without hassle. Of course, feel free to switch out the assault rifle with an LMG or SMG if you want to or have a vastly superior or higher level one. At the end of the day, this is just my own opinion. I would encourage you to try them all out in your quest in The Division 2. But if you're looking for a straightforward answer that works very well, this is it. Alright, so those are the core things you'll have to follow. But here are some important tips to keep in mind when leveling. I'll try to make this section as spoilerless as possible. You will be given a weapon reforged system of a sort at the end game, which allows you to transfer weapon talents between weapons. The drawback of this is that you can only transfer weapon talents between similar weapon types. So you can only transfer a shotgun talent to another shotgun, an LMG talent to another LMG, and so on. As you level up beyond level 20, you will start to encounter purples and even yellows on a regular basis. You will have a lot of space in your stash, so if you see a weapon talent that you like, store it for now. You may want to use it later, and you'll get a much better idea at the end game of whether you'll want that talent or not. Which leads to the next point. Should you salvage or sell your items? Compared to Division 1, where money was pretty useful and often crucial, money is not so much an issue in Division 2, especially during leveling. I found it way more useful to simply disenchant everything. Salvage everything. The materials you get from salvaging early on will still be useful at the endgame, so make sure you salvage everything. Only start selling if you need the cash to do essential things, such as upgrading your crafting bench, but it was never necessary to buy gear from a vendor while leveling. With that in mind, however, be aware that there are projects for you to complete, basically quests that often have an element whereby you turn in items, and often these items take the form of gear. So make sure you visit your project vendor before salvaging all of your gear. Regardless, don't be too worked up about this. If you miss it, gear drops aplenty in this game, and you can always do the projects later on. And that's a wrap for this leveling guide, the fastest way to level up to 30 so that you can take on the end game. At the end of the day, make sure you enjoy your leveling experience. The Division 2 has been an amazing game so far for me, a looter RPG with guns that feel so alive and immersive. This is also my very first Division 2 video, so I hope that it was able to be of help. Usually, I'll end off with an Azeroth quote here, but for this game, I'll say instead that I'll see you in DC.